Hi, this is Craig Satterley in the basement, and this is take one for the week of September 13. Peace be with you. I'm dressed up a little bit today because I have just returned from the baptism of Titus Eugene Smith. What an honor to be able to baptize him. We had it at Memorial Park in Three Rivers, and I guess there were 15 of us in attendance, maybe. This will now be the third time that I have worshiped in person since March 15th. The first was Ray Orth's funeral at St. Peter in Unionville. The second was Pastor Kate von Volkenberg's ordination at Bread of Life in Hudsonville. And now the third at Titus Eugene's baptism in the park at Three Rivers. So I'm being very cautious about worship, and I continue to encourage us all to be cautious in terms of worship and gathering and people protecting themselves and loving others. I expect this will be the week where our nation reaches 200,000 COVID-related deaths. And that's kind of unsettling. I remember thinking when there were 100,000 deaths that we needed to be on our way out of this. We certainly were on our way out of this, and we're not. We're not. So I am praying for you all that we can all remain patient and faithful. I am praying for those who continue to be sick and those who will die and their loved ones. And I pray for first responders and for our medical people. And I pray for decision makers who, no one is enjoying keeping things closed down. No one is enjoying things not getting back to normal. And those of us entrusted with decisions, whether it's for the economy or for sports or for the church or restaurants or businesses or whatever, we're agonizing over all of this. So I'm praying for those folks too. The things we can continue to do to help are the things we should have been doing all along. Wear masks when you go outside or when you're around people. When you're in the store, wear masks. When you're around people, wear masks. When you cannot social distance and you're with someone for more than 15 minutes, they say, wear masks. Wash hands. Please continue to wash hands several times a day and social distance. It goes against our nature to stay 6, and some folks are saying, some experts are saying 6 feet is not far enough. It goes against our nature to stay 6 feet apart, but it is what we need to do to protect, to love one another. So please continue to do these things as we respond to the COVID, and pray for those who have lost loved ones. You mind if I take this off for seeing them in the house? And I'm alone. Pray for those who have lost loved ones. Their lives are just destroyed. And so you figure 200,000 people have died or will die this week, and all of the people related to them. So my thoughts on COVID for today. The parable for Sunday is the parable of the laborers. And I think, all know the story that the guy goes out early in the morning and hires laborers for his field and sends them out, says, I'll give you the daily wage. They work all day. But the guy goes out at noon and does the same thing, says you work for the rest of the day, I'll give you the daily wage. And then at the hour before closing time, he goes out and gets some more and gives them the daily wage. So some worked all day, some worked for an hour. Everybody got the same reward. So there's two things that I find insightful about this parable. One, if he had not given everybody the daily wage, 2/3 of the folks, the ones who didn't work all day, wouldn't have had enough. They wouldn't have had enough for the day to feed their family, to house their family. We need to realize this is about basic needs. This is not about extras. So it's good to know that God, the kingdom of God is one where everybody gets what they need, no matter how long they worked, or maybe if they didn't work at all. The other thing that I would have us note is that at one time or another in this life, when it comes to our relationship with God, we will all have days or seasons when we won't be the ones that worked all day. We may show up at noon, or we may get hired an hour before closing time. We will all have those experiences. And the grace in all this is that we all get enough. So why did in the parable that Jesus tells, why didn't he pay the people who worked the least first? Or no, if you paid the people who worked all day first and they left, nobody would know. The landowner makes a point of showing everyone. I guess so that when the day comes when the people who worked all day don't work all day, they'll know they'll still get enough. There's grace in that too. So were I preaching, and I'm not preaching this week, I would talk about the times, and we all have them, when we are called late, or when we are called at closing time, or when we respond late, or when we respond at closing times. And we can all name circumstances or issues where we've shown up late. So we are not, in the kingdom of God, we are not rewarded by how long or how hard we work. We are rewarded according to the generosity of the landowner, who loves us so much that he gave us his only son to suffer and to die so that we might live the very life of God. I would invite you to join me in praying for Peace Lutheran Church in Gaylord, because on Sunday the 20th, they will be having a congregational meeting to vote to call a pastor. So I invite you to join me in praying for that congregation as well. The week will be more Zoom for me, and that's both good and bad. It's pretty tiring, but I'm very grateful for it because it allows us to do work that needs to be done, even as we continue to work at home and to confine ourselves to the basement. So that's take one for the week of the September 13th. You are in my prayers, as I hope I am in yours. The peace of Christ be with you. Take care.